We're here in the Seaport with Allison Gaines Pell, head of school for the private Blue School, and that's in the Seaport area, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the history of this Blue School. When was it started? And it was originally a creative arts type program, and now it's a fully accredited school, correct?
Mm-hmm. So the school was started in 2006. It was started as a play group for 2-year-olds in the living room of our founders. The founders are the 3 out of 6 of them are the 3 founding members of the Blue Man Group.
Okay.
And they really found that there was a need for a school that would kind of exponentially increase the curiosity and wonder that children naturally come with, instead of the opposite, which is what we find that is happening in schools most everywhere these days, according to the research.
What do you mean by that? Is it cutbacks, not allowing arts or music programs, or what are you referring to?
I think more than specific programs, it's sort of about educational approach. So at Blue School, what we're trying to do is create sort of a more complete and balanced approach to education. So integrating the best practices that we know of in education, from neuroscience, educational research, and sort of the overall practices of the past hundreds of years.
We'll discuss your curriculum in a second, but the main reason we reached out to you is we learned that you're expanding. So you're expanding from what grade on, and what are you now? What grades is it now?
So right now we serve 2-year-olds and 2s, 3s, and 4s in our pre-primary program. Then we have kindergarten through 5th grade. So this year is our first 5th grade class. And starting next fall, we're going to be expanding through middle school. So we'll start with a 6th grade class, and each year add on another class through 8th grade.
And that is physically outside around the corner, correct? That's where it's going to be 5 through high school? We're expanding into the building next door, which is 233 Water Street, so we'll be able to actually have a contiguous space, which is really exciting. What is on Beekman? I saw Blue School.
On Beekman, we were really happy that through conversations with Howard Hughes and the folks doing work in the Seaport area, they did like decals using some of the work that our kids have done. So it looks kind of like it's our building, but it's not. So
the expansion will be adjacent right here on this block. All right. So let's talk about, this is a private school, not a charter school. It's a private school, and the cost for parents is going to be what?
$36,000
per year. Okay. Now that's a lot of money, and so why would help us understand what you offer here that other schools might not offer?
Sure. So one of the things that I think there's a ton of noise in education overall. You know, there's questions about what's traditional and what's progressive, and what we're trying to do at Blue School is create a more balanced, complete, and kind of exuberant approach to education. That also, I think what we're trying to do is create kind of a better balance between what we see as the traditional academic goals, which of course we cover like all schools
STEM,
do,
math,
and writing and reading and all that good stuff, with the kind of creative arts, and also with a sense of the social emotional learning and well-being of human beings.
Are you seeing that some teachers might be continuing to interact with the students from grade to grade? Or
we don't have any teachers who follow students as a kind of practice, although sometimes that happens when we put teachers in different grade levels. But the relationships that are formed within the classrooms, and the ways that children are asked to work together and sort of engage through group projects, to do work, shared work. So for example, in our kindergarten right now, we have the kindergarten started out by thinking about a can drive, and they got interested in this thing called Canstruction, which is you've probably heard about.
BatteryPark City has it in the World Financial Center.
Exactly. So they became kind of interested in that. They went out to see it, and then they started to build their own neighborhood out of cans. So they had to bring in all the cans, galvanize the community, count the cans, sort the cans, and you can see how through that process they can learn a lot of basic skills. And now they're actually making designs of their own. So the kids have to work together, they have to reflect back on their work, and they have to project forward about what the project is going to need from day to day.
Well, since the origin is with the ultra creative, innovative Blue Man Group, does that filter into the programs here? Do you see really creative, interactive classes with unusual playroom experiences, or help us understand?
So I think that what I would say is that what Blue Man, the seed that Blue Man gives us is kind of what animates us every day, both in terms of the kind of optimism that we have for the potential of children and capacity of children and humanity in general, and in terms of the inspiration and also the responsibility to build out kind of creative learners who go out and do big and bold things with their lives.
So how big, in a couple of years, how many students do you expect to be in through 8th grade, I'm sorry, again?
Through 8th grade.
How large do you think the school will be?
We anticipate it'll be about 350 or 400.
Okay. What's the training or qualifications for the teachers?
People ask me a lot, where do you find your teachers? And the answer is we get them from all over and from a lot of different kinds of backgrounds. People coming from public schools, coming from other private schools, coming through other professions. All of them share a really kind of common desire to see children, to kind of be improvisational in some ways in their responses to children's questions and the work that they're doing.
So you're here in the Seaport. That's a very good point. So the Seaport is changing a lot. You're in the middle of a big, right outside the window is the Peck Slip Public School. You have Howard Hughes developing. We could see a lot more residential buildings that don't currently exist. What are your thoughts about why did you choose Seaport?
It's a great question. So the South Street Seaport is kind of a perfect place for us, both because it feels like a neighborhood in transition. It feels like there's an incredible amount of momentum. There's people who are moving here, but also who are staying here and raising their families here. The neighborhood and the alliance between the local businesses and the people who live here is really special. But I think most of all, what's really unusual about being here and fun as a learning institution is that we get to take advantage of all the incredible rich history that's right here. So, from the American Revolution to the fish market to the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, we're right in the middle of the thick of that, which provides so many different learning opportunities. But as far as the kind of where we are now and where the area is going, I think we're so thrilled to be part of it, and I've had lots of opportunities to just be part of those conversations.
You may have factored this in, or maybe it's just by accident, but you're going to benefit from the fact that the public schools, there's not enough of them. So there's a tremendous wait list for kindergarten and so forth. And they were supposed to build a couple of more schools. They decided not to, the Department of Education. So there are needs for schools, and that can't be bad for business. So.
Well, I mean, it's we know that not only are there not, we think that there are not enough seats, and I'm certainly not in charge of that part of it, but also I think that we see, especially with all that's going on with testing and the testing stuff that's happening overall, we do see parents kind of coming to us looking for, like I said, a more complete kind of educational approach. But we're also really happy to be sharing this neighborhood with incredible public schools that are, partners in the work to create great
There's
education.
not enough seats now, and there's going to be numerous, I've lost track, 7 or so 800-foot tall apartment buildings. So in the next 5 years, there's going to be this even larger growth of need for schools. So
should be interesting.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.